What does Scarlet Witch use to style her hair? Scare spray. Thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel for today's Comic Book Editions Volume 186 video. I have some recent additions into my collection. Actually, a good bulk of them are books that were released last year, but there is a couple vintage things in today's haul and some great covers that I'm excited to share with you. I hope you'll stick around for everything that I have to offer. Thanks again for stopping by. Before we get started, a programming note: I'll be a return guest tonight, Tuesday, April 2nd, on the 1011 show with Gary B., the Casual Comics Guy. I'm so excited that Gary has asked me back. I had a great time the last time I was on, and I hope you enjoyed the stories and the comic books that I have picked out to share in that live stream tonight. If you're watching this and it's already past the time that the show aired, you can catch a repeat of it. I have linked the video in the collaborations folder playlist here on my YouTube channel. And don't forget to sub up my friend Gary B., the Casual Comics Guy. I always have a great time hanging out with him, and I'm excited for this show tonight. Let's get started sharing books today. You start out with a Scarlet Witch joke, you wear a Scarlet Witch t-shirt, you got to share a Scarlet Witch comic book, I say. This is the Scarlet Witch Annual, Volume 1, Issue 1, released last year. This is the George Perez variant cover. Of course, last year Marvel did, much to my delight, a whole series of George Perez variant covers. I think most of these were sketches that he had done at different times in his life that they opted to turn into actual covers. And this one to me is stunning. 1977 is when he did this Scarlet Witch sketch originally. Now, one thing that I will say that I did notice between the difference of 1977 and the difference of modern today is the coloring. Now, if this had come out as a cover back in 1977, I think the colors would be much brighter and bolder than they are today. It's a little more muted today. Of course, you know I'm such a Bronze Age fan, and the George Perez artwork, I'm such a huge fan as it is. I mean, it's no secret from watching my channel. I had to have this. And the story was okay. I mean, essentially it's a Scarlet Witch versus Agatha Harkness story. And in this issue, they turn Agatha Harkness young. I don't know how I feel about that. To me, it kind of feels like that's the Hollywood influence, since Catherine Hahn is younger and she played Agatha Harkness on the WandaVision show, and, you know, is going to be getting her own series that, oh, we have to turn her younger in the comic books to match that too. I don't like Hollywood's influence on comic books. I like comic books to influence Hollywood. I like it the other way around. But Hollywood is bigger bucks than comic books, so I understand why that happens. And while I'm on the subject of Catherine Hahn and Agatha Harkness, it was Agatha all along. It's still my jam. I still love that song. That was amazing. That was a great record. I still listen to it frequently. And when I do, I like binge listen to it like over and over and over. Anyway, I get off topic. So we're kind of seeing, at least I think, you know, I don't read a ton of modern Marvel, but they've kind of made Agatha Harkness like a villain for Scarlet Witch. Is that what's going on? If you're a modern Marvel reader, make sure to leave me a comment below and let me know if that's happening and your thoughts on it. I don't think there's anything wrong with having an older character. I think a character's a great character regardless of what age that character's supposed to be. And I'm not a fan of ageism, especially in Hollywood, who are very guilty of that, but that's a different topic, a different soapbox that I won't climb up too much higher on in today's video. Staying with that same theme from the George Perez variant month that Marvel did last year, here we have Captain Marvel Dark Tempest, issue number 1, with a George Perez cover that was originally done as a sketch in 2009. In a sense, I guess you could say these first books that I'm showing is a throwback to my Comic Book Editions Volume 177 video. In that, my friend Mr. Fridgeart sent me some amazing Christmas presents, and there were some George Perez variant covers in there. And I just wanted to show a few more that I've added into my collection too. One that I don't have that I really do want is the Fantastic Four variant cover that he did. during that theme. That's one of the really nice ones that I didn't get a chance to get, but maybe someday I'll be able to add that into my collection. I love having Marvel and Carol Danvers here. Of course, we have Carol Danvers in the Black Lightning Bolt costume. You know, that's my jam. I love that a whole lot. And in the beginning, I was very excited about reading this story. Limited series. This is issue number 1. And they also did, for issue number 2, another Perez sketch turned into a cover. And I can tell this is more from the more modern George Perez days, as opposed to the Scarlet Witch one that we showed earlier, which was definitely Bronze Age. But this story, so I started with issue number 1, and I was so excited about this. I'm like, I think I'm going to pick up this entire story. I'm a Carol Danvers fan. I know she's Captain Marvel now. That's okay. I'm still a Carol Danvers fan. And I'm like, it'd be nice to kind of catch up and read a really good Carol Danvers story. So I read issue 1, and I could not get into this at all. As hard as I tried, I could not get into this at all. So I wasn't excited to read issue number 2. Finally, after a lot of time in between issues, I did pick up and read this, issue number 2. And I don't know, I guess I had low expectations, so I wouldn't say issue 2 disappointed me. Issue 1 definitely did. But it didn't make me want to even pursue reading anymore. Will I ever pull these books back out and reread them? To be honest with you, highly doubtful. Do I care what happened in the rest of this series of the story, this mini-series, limited series? No, not really. So that was kind of disappointing to me. If you did read the rest of this, let me know if I actually ended up missing out by not continuing. If they would have had George Perez variant covers for the other 3 issues after this, I probably would have picked that up. But they didn't, so I didn't, and I'm not. At least that's the plan. We're going to switch over to DC right now, and I guess in a sense this is George Perez related. So have you seen this before? This is the Crisis on Infinite Earths Fan Expo cover for issue number 7. This was an exclusive for them. So back in my Comic Book Editions Volume 181 video, which was kind of a Wonder Woman haul, I mentioned that I bought some Wonder Woman variants that were for sale from Fan Expo, and it had been a minute since I ordered from them. Of course, since I was buying the Wonder Womans, I looked around to see if there was anything else that caught my attention. And I'm like, what is this? This came out in the fall of 2023, but I didn't know about it until earlier this year. And I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, I mean, it's Tom Grummett doing the art here. No comparison to George Perez. I mean, let's not even try to go there because the original cover is so amazing. But I was like, I kind of am digging this. And there was a virgin version plus a foil version. I like those as well. But I had to be practical with my money, and I was good with the trade dress version too. Of course, the iconic issue where Supergirl dies. And I just wanted it. I just thought it was awesome, and I wanted it. So since I was already buying books from them, it's not going to hurt to put one more book in shipping-wise. So that's why I decided to pick this up. Of course, DC is kind of copying Marvel a little bit. Marvel's doing facsimiles, monthly facsimiles of their Secret Wars limited series. And now DC is doing monthly facsimiles of their Crisis on Infinite Earths. So far, I've been able to resist those and plan on resisting those, even though some of those foil covers are very tempting. The original cover to number 7, Superman in just agony holding the dead Supergirl's body. The foil version of that, I might not be able to resist. That might be too much for me and push me over the edge, at least picking up issue number 7. I loved Crisis. It's a book that I reread frequently, and you can just page through it and just see some characters in the background too, or notice something different that maybe didn't catch me at first, or there's all sorts of appreciation, not only for the artwork, but for the story as well. I mean, when you put Wolfman and Perez together, magic happens, and it certainly did on this series. And keeping the flow going, we were talking about Supergirl. Let's talk about Power Girl. So Power Girl has definitely made a resurgence. This is Power Girl Volume 4, issue number 1. This is the Ariel Diaz trade dress variant, which is kind of a cropped up image of the Virgin cover that he did. A beautiful image. I love this. I love the coloring on this too. Okay, so I read the story and I was kind of excited to read the story too. And I don't know, the story just didn't kind of grab me and I don't know, it was all right. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it just didn't grab me as much as I hoped it would. Sometimes in an issue number one, they don't because, they're setting up the characters or the new supporting characters or the thing. One thing that I thought was interesting is now she's going, her secret identity is Paige as opposed to Karen. So is it not Karen Starr anymore because Karen kind of is associated with, Karen's difficult people. I don't know if that's the reason or the decision why going away from that, where they felt like Karen was more of a dated name. I don't know. But her name's now Paige, and I don't know how I feel about that either. I do know that I love the cover. And if you've read, future Power Girl stories after this, you need to let me know if I'm missing out on this or not. Because like I said, I see Power Girl being used a lot in a lot of Power Girl variant covers. But your boy just has this one, at least for now. I don't know. No plans of picking up more unless you start telling me that I should. And you could have some influence on me. Besides Wonder Woman, DC's best-selling female is Harley Quinn. And you don't see me show a lot of Harley Quinn on my channel. I am not anti-Harley Quinn. I think you would have to talk to a different fanboy to talk to the anti-Harley Quinn. But this issue with Harley kind of dressed up as Wonder Woman, it's Harley Screws Up the DC Universe issue number 4. This is the Meghan Hetrick variant cover from last year. I'm like, yeah, I want to check this out. I want to see what this is about. And essentially, it was fun the way it should be. Harley is traveling through time. The majority of the story is Wonder Woman centric, with the last couple pages being Aquaman focused. But Harley kind of goes over to Themyscira. She kind of comes out of her time machine. She steps right into the clay that Hippolyta is molding. Hippolyta is not too happy about that and expresses it. Of course, that clay she was molding was supposed to be her daughter, and Harley's just stepped on her daughter and ruined the entire thing. But it was a fun issue, and I actually would be interested in reading more of these Harley Screws Up the DCU titles if the rest of them were, half as fun as this issue was. So this was a good pick, although it was pretty much a spur of the moment pick. It was a fun one, and that was worth it. I promised you some vintage, and I want to show a couple vintage books right now. Your boy's working on his Justice League of America collection. I'm trying to get, I got a 3-year plan going, one a month for the next 3 years to complete volume 1. Here's one that I didn't have. This is issue 80, originally published in 1970. My copy here has a little bit of a date stamp on it that says March 17th, which I kind of like too. Murphy Anderson cover. Denny O'Neil wrote the story. So this story isn't as memorable as some of the other Justice League stories that I think Denny O'Neil wrote. I do overall generally like this period of Justice League of America, but essentially they find Hawkman in outer space, and they're trying to figure out exactly what happened to him while they're worrying about him being able to survive. And Superman kind of explores a little bit into outer space too, looking for Hawkman's ship. And that's essentially what, it's just a one-issue self-contained story. And that's kind of essentially what this one is about. Just another one to check off my list and be happy that I'm working on that goal. But I'm not done there yet. How about another Justice League? This is issue 95, published a year later, towards the end of 1971. We have Neil Adams doing the cover art. So here we've got this character, Johnny Doon. He was a Vietnam vet that has become a very successful musician, but he's able to use his music to kind of hypnotize his crowds into turning against the man. So that's kind of the basis of this story. This is a cover I've been familiar about for quite some time. And I ended up getting this for steal. I'm very happy with the condition of this. I think I paid $1. I think I paid like $1.04 for this plus shipping on eBay. So this was a really good deal, especially with how nice the condition was on this. So as I continue chipping away, as I said, at my Justice Leagues one a month for the next 3 years, I'm definitely progressing in the right direction. And another from the era that I really like, This issue also has backup stories as well, with the origins of Dr. Fate and Dr. Midnight shared in the backup stories. The backup reprints, and they are reprints from Golden Age stories, I'm not into nearly as much, but I did enjoy the original stories, and I enjoy the lineup from this time and in this general era, early bronze of JLA. What was my favorite book that I shared today? Are you looking for any of these books or have anything to contribute because you have some of these books in your collection? Let's dialogue about that in the comments section below. If you're not subscribed yet, I need your subscription to help me get to 1K. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, a like, share the video on the channel with someone that you think might enjoy it. That's another great way to support my channel. I certainly do appreciate it. Let's talk about what is going on my channel. We have the back issue of the week YouTube short that dropped yesterday, and that's Godzilla themed to tie into the Godzilla Kong movie that was just released this past weekend. So that's up already on my channel, doing well. If you have 60 seconds to give it a watch, I certainly do appreciate that. Fanboys Live and the Retro Review is coming up this Sunday on my channel, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. As for this week's Retro Review, which was picked by me, I'm just going to say this. You knew it was going to happen sometime. You just knew it was going to happen sometime. That's just what I'm saying. Tune in or catch the rewind for more details. It's always fun doing the show live, too, and having you guys in the chat. So if you can never join live, I love that. If you're watching the rewind, that's cool, too, and I certainly do appreciate it. But join Signature King, Tony Fett, and Comic Food 2814 and myself for Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. As I said tonight, once again, the 1011 with Gary B, the Casual Comics Guy, my friend. I'm looking forward to being on his show with him tonight. If you're watching on the rewind, like I said, that's already archived now in the collaborations playlist folder here on my channel. Thanks for making it to the end of this Comic Book Editions video. You are awesome. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to visiting with you with not only the shows that I mentioned just a few moments ago, but for next week's Comic Book Editions video as well. Take care.